First of all, I would like to say that, well, I'm happy to be here, to see again all these friends and that make possible to organize this meeting. Of course, the foundation and Luis with this great place that we have the opportunity to enjoy during these days, but of course you. So for me, it's a great pleasure to return the contact and go ahead with Reimagine now and for the future. So, well, nothing new to say. I mean, there is a lot of ideas that we have shared during all the morning. In my case, I coordinated yesterday and during the last weeks a group regarding the business models. We received some feedback from different professionals from the book sector and readership sector. And yesterday, in the meeting that we have here in the three workshop groups, we tried to organize some ideas and present today to the plenary with the idea to create a kind of roadmap or guide for the future, especially regarding this European scope that we have this year in Reimagine. So this is literally the ideas that this international community, this European community, give us as feedback. The first one is readership and book versus other cultural and entertainment options. More than a business opportunity, it's a reality. It's the framework that we have regarding the attention economy. You know very well that we have a lot of very interesting opportunities regarding the cultural and entertainment. Of course, books is the origin, but we have video, we have music, we have all these incredible contents with a good quality, but we have a limitation of time. So this is a real challenge for the whole industry. Not only for our industry, for the whole media and entertainment and cultural industry. Publishing intellectual property, the IP as raw material, is our raw material. I mean, I think it's Mija that said that everything starts in an history, in a book. So probably we are the more old, the more traditional, with more feedback centuries ago, starting with this business of create histories and disseminate histories with the population. So we have an advantage in that sense. But that means also collaborate with other cultural and entertainment industries that I think was Simone that talked about partnership out of the silo. We have to think out of the silo with other media, cultural and entertainment industries. Of course, we have the backlist as an active, centuries of backlist of histories that is our raw material. The need to add innovation and research to the tradition aspect of the book industry. Of course, we have the tradition that is great, but in some cases, outside the book sector is considered as not a, how can I say, not a cool sector, not a modern sector, not a technological adapted sector. So, well, is the moment, as I think it was Enrico said, that develop book innovation hubs, go ahead with the innovation, the research, the development aspects of the industry in order to mix and create a balance between this tradition that we have as an active and this research, development, innovation. So we have a lot of very interesting projects for the future, and probably 2022 will be a very important year for us here in Spain, but I think around Europe regarding this idea of innovation, accelerators, attract talent to the sector, startups, etc. The present and future of the brick-and-mortar bookshops in front of tech platforms is also one of the worries of the whole industry, not only in Europe, but around the world. The present of the brick-and-mortar bookshops. We talk about the 4 Cs. Probably you know the theory on the study of the Ryan Raffaelli, professor from the Harvard University, regarding the development and the situation of the bookshops in the United States, talking about the necessities of community, curation, convenience. We added the 4C of connection, that I think is also important nowadays. After the pandemic, the connection of the bookshops, the physical bookshops, with the audience in order to make and write the books. And yesterday, I think was Carlo, I don't know, added another C, that is coffee. I think coffee is also important, and it's not a spoiler, but tomorrow we will have a very interesting presentation, roundtable, regarding the brick and mortar bookshops and the evolution from a European perspective. Coffee will be also part of the presentations, but I think it's one of the topics that we have to consider in the European agenda for sure, because bookshops are part of our landscape in terms of what are our actives of Europeans in front of other places of the world. Print on demand in market. Print on demand is one of the technologies that we consider nowadays is part of the core of the industry. It's close to customers, always available, and better for carbon footprint, and also is linked with the green publishing, and also one of the mottos, leitmotifs for the nowadays and for the near future. And all this material is linked with some ideas that I want to present, the omni-channel strategy, that I think is also part of the landscape nowadays, from the publisher's perspective, but also from the retail perspective. What's quite interesting, I think Mr. Bischenbach talked about the strategy of Thalia in Germany. That was one of the references that we considered last year regarding this omni-channel strategy. Discoverability, key factor nowadays, key factor. Probably the most important factor for our industry because, as I mentioned, we have a century backlist, thousands and thousands and millions of titles of different products. Probably it's not other industry that has this amount of reference. So nowadays, you can access to this incredible amount of content, but the key factor, and even using print on demand, you can make arrive all this amount of contents in print version or digital version in every place around the world. But the key factor is how to discover this book that is the book that I need in that sense. And again, it's during all the conversation, the data sharing as well, key factor also nowadays, regarding different aspects of the data sharing, that is metadata. I think Arantxa is here, that I call her Lady Metadata. So metadata, again, from the publishing perspective, make arrive good metadata to all the retail channels as a way to invest in the best way to make arrive your book to the right reader, the right customer. But also, from the retail side, the sell-out. I mean, it's very important to have content sell-out figures and data for reorganize how to make books, how to produce books, and of course, the reader's profile that was mentioned during all these mornings. So I think we as ecosystem regarding the book sector, we have publishers, distributors, booksellers, access to this metadata, to this sell-out, to this reader's profile. So it's a clear opportunity in order to create something from the company sides, but also from the associations and the institution side. Direct and interactive relation to readers, fan communities, that means digital marketing tools, artificial intelligence, that was also in the conversation during all this morning. And I think, and also link it with some of the presentations tomorrow. So I think it's interesting. Follow tomorrow all the conversation regarding these topics. Again, how to manage communities, how to create and manage readers in order to select his different interests, his different activities, different products, even in collaboration with other media industries. Target specific marketing, comprehensive brand experience, and user-friendly online presence. And that gives us also the word of accessibility, that I think is also other of the important factors nowadays. In terms of legislation and regulation even, and Fondazione Elia is doing a very important work in that sense. In fact, yesterday we have a workshop on this topic of accessibility that is, it's applied not only for the digital contents, but for any kind of content, print, digital, that is selling through a digital framework, e-commerce, etc. And last but not least, reinvent the book professional community itself. That means, and it's also work, cooperation, partnership at local level. Of course, for instance, during the pandemic, probably the collaboration here in Spain between the different players in the book sector, publishers, distributors, booksellers, and also the government, the administration, was a key factor for go ahead and even reinforce our structures and probably the companies. So we need cooperation at this local level, but also the collaboration at international level, because the challenges are very similar. So, well, that's one of the questions that we are treating here. I mean, this kind of collaboration that makes sense at national level with all these very interesting actions that are taken in Italy or in France or even in Germany or Spain. But we need to be more connected in that sense for go ahead together. And nothing more. I mean, we will continue tomorrow the conversation, of course, but not only we finish here during these 2 days in Madrid, we continue the conversation in the different platforms that we have created in collaboration with the Foundation, a part of Reimagine, the Renodo hub that is open to the discussion for all the book professionals in Europe at international level. We are lucky in that sense that here in Spain we are a kind of bridge between Europe and Latin America, and for us Renodo is the way to make this link between these two continents. Thank you again, enjoy, and keep in touch.
Just one thing.
Okay.
Just one thing. We are going to finish now. Just one little thing. Is asking the three of you to propose ideas to link the three different fields. I mean, how could you link reading with some of the ideas, Mija, that Enrico presented or José Manuel?
Well, I mean, the most simple link between, let's say, publishing and reading is more wide the reading habits are, better is publishing off. So supporting reading is supporting demand. So that's the most simple connection for me.
Enrico.
Well, again, it works both ways. We said one of the most important policies has to look at reading in all its aspects. So using the knowledge that comes from studying reading to feed policy, and at the same time, policy is the basis, the framework in which business goes. So again, a bilateral relationship. Look at what business is doing to inform policy, and from the business side, keep track of the impact that policy has in order to provide this feedback to the policymakers.
Well, I think I forget to talk about the Veronica presentation that I think was great. I like very much. I don't know exactly the concept of lineal, but I think it's interesting. Think about of walking on the lineal side. I mean, we are in a very special moment. So for me, it's important in this moment of create something new after all these terrible things that's happened, that that mean challenge, but also opportunities. If we can create something new from a European way to consider things, and especially regarding the book sector, I think it's the moment to think about that. I feel very European in that, probably nowadays more than ever. And I think that if we create something new, we have to consider that this European side that is part of the philosophy of reimagining this event.
Yes, and tomorrow we will have the chance to talk about new European ways to understand the publishing industry. No? And, I mean, a different proposition from the GAFA, from the platform scheme. Okay, then thank you very much.